on Pure. Fraser told us all about the 10B 10K yesterday. We're going to stick with the running theme with our next guest from the Pembrokeshire Triathlon Club, and also to tell us all about the 2023 Broadhaven Pudding Run, which is not too far away. Dave Astins is with us. Hiya, Dave. How are you?
Oh, good evening. I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, we're not bad at all, thank you, and good to have you on to talk about this. The Pudding Run, really popular, and just over a month away for this year's event. So we'll start there.
Yeah, that's right. The Broadhaven Christmas Pudding Run comes around again. I think it's the 11th year for the race. It's on Sunday, the 10th of December. I know quite a lot of your listeners will have done it before because it's a very, very popular event.
Just before I let Fraser and Gordon come in, tell us about the route, because there's a famous hill that Fraser still has nightmares about when he talks to us about it. So tell us about it, Dave, because it's a fun 10K route, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is fun, and that is the point. But let's be honest. There's no way out of Broadhaven that doesn't go up a hill. Unless we just run up and down the beach all day. But it starts on the beach, and then pretty soon, almost immediately, you're into the hill that goes up Harroldstone. But it is only about 1 kilometre, and then it levels out, rises a bit more. Bears right then near Druidston, and there's one more sort of shallow climb. And then the last 3 kilometres, the last 2 miles of downhill. It's a lovely shallow downhill. So, some people struggle running steep downhill, but the shallow downhill along Long Lane is a really nice way to finish the race. And then, quick hop across the stones onto the sand, and about 100 metres to finish. So, lovely route.
What are you grumbling about, Fraser?
I'm not convinced about it's just about 1K. I'll check that again this year. But Dave, I know actually you're fresh off the back of one of your other major events, Pembrokeshire Tri Club, of course, the Dale 10K and half marathon in September, which I gather we greeted with some inclement weather this year. Tell us how that went.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would say roughly every other year we have good weather, and every other year we have bad weather. This was one of the worst ones, I have to say. It was very windy. The rain passed just after the start, so it did dry out a bit. But that was the end of September. It seems like a long time ago now. That race has been going since 2000. So, but I think probably missing one. I think we've done 22 years of that event. Again, we attract between 200 and 300 runners every year to that race, and it's again, it's got both events have got a hill in, but that's part of the fun. And we raised a bit of money for good causes, as well as it being a serious running event.
Looking forward to the new year then, Dave. What lovely runs have you got lined up then? Have you got anything in the spring to entice people out?
Well, we have. So we got a bit of multi-sport first. So our first event's in February. It's the Pembrokeshire Duathlon, which has been going for over 10 years as well in Neyland.
Right.
So that includes a bit of cycling, or if you can do it as a relay team, so 1 or 2 runners and a cyclist. And then our first running race next year is in June, so that's the Marlow Spud Run. So we've organised that twice before, once pre-COVID and then again last year. That's like a multi-terrain race on the coast path over the airfield in Dale.
Multi-terrain is one way of putting it, Dave.
So the good bit of that is that there's another beach in it. We like beaches when we're at Pembrokeshire Tri Club events. So that does involve the old airfields, a bit of road, a bit of coast path, a bit of beach, and running across a couple of fields to finish. But there's a great cafe at the end. So what's not to like?
Yeah, all runners love a good cafe. Or a nice bit of cake. Yeah, no doubt. How are you finding it with the Tri Club, Dave? With the events you're organising, and you said numbers are still good. Is it still really popular, and the events are really worthwhile to put on still?
Yeah, I mean, so we organise the 4 events that I've mentioned, and we support Broadhaven with their Pudding Run, and that's really enough to keep us going, I have to say. I mean, the triathlon we organise in Broadhaven every summer is become a really big event. I mean, it's not to the same scale of Ironman, obviously, but it's 400. It's the Welsh Championships. It's on TV, and when you're putting 400 people into the sea at Broadhaven, for example, if the weather allows you to, and on open roads, there's quite a lot of responsibility. So thankfully the club is thriving, and we've got a lot of people who put their hands up to volunteer on race days and to help out with things in advance. And it makes my life easier as a race organizer, to make things happen, because they really are quite significant events.
Dave, we seem to be in an era now where they're expanding endurance events all the time, haven't we? We've got 5Ks, 10Ks, marathon races, but the things have come into the last few years, like trail runs, mud runs, that sort of thing, ultra marathons as well. What's the key to, with so much options now for runners or people who want endurance, to keeping interest up in your events? Because you have managed to do it. Do you find you have the same loyal band of competitors who come back each year, or have you had to maybe try and attract a new audience because of so much else being available?
I think that's a really good question. I think we pride ourselves in putting on quality events, and I think that's key. Number one is, someone comes to do an event of yours and they leave with a really positive experience. I think the second aspect of it is that we try really hard not to clash with other events. So since we started organising events, lots of things have come along, and I wouldn't see them as competitors, but sometimes they are. To be honest, sometimes events get put on exactly the same weekend as events we've been running for many years, and it can be slightly frustrating. So we like to work with people, and we want our events to have a place. I think there's a place for all of these events. It seems, I don't know about you folks, but when I started getting involved in running, for example, a marathon was like a massive goal. Now it seems for a lot of people, marathons, they want to go way beyond it. They want to do Ironman. They want to do a 50 miler on a Sunday is nothing to them. Whereas it sort of brings me out in a sweat just thinking about that. I just think it's about working with others, trying not to clash, putting on a good quality event at a decent price, you tend to find your market. I would say our running events, we don't, I wouldn't say we struggle, but perhaps our numbers on our running event, if you take Dale, is down a little bit from where it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I think part of that is the Cardiff half. Look how big that's got, and it's in a similar time of year. And the Llanelli half marathon moved for the last 2 years into the autumn. It's now gone back to the spring, so that may help us out.
What about the Pembrokeshire Tri Club? Is there still good numbers training there, Dave? You're saying the events are well attended, so they must be going quite well. And also, are the junior members still keen to do these events as well?
Yeah, that's a good question, Gordon. The club is doing really well. Our senior sessions are really well attended. So we have 2 swims a week, we have 2 runs a week, and then we put on sort of social bike rides, and then we do a few time trials in the summer. So they're always very, very well attended. Our juniors, in terms of racing, they do absolutely fantastic. Pembrokeshire punches well above its weight across Wales. At the moment, we're not doing regular training sessions with the juniors. A lot of them are obviously members of either a running club or a swimming club anyway, so they sort of ease into triathlon sometimes as they get older. Sometimes they start really young, but in terms of racing, they're doing exceedingly well.
That's really good to hear.
Dave, of course, every sport was hit by COVID-19. There's no point pretending otherwise. And I know in your case, events were cancelled and so on. But I was under the loose impression that the pandemic might actually help in the long run in terms of endurance events, because it got more people into running, didn't it? Especially when the excise rules came in. And I know a lot of people actually took it up only because of the pandemic and have kept it up. Did that have a positive impact in the long run? Is it still seeing the after effects of that now, or has it not made a great deal of difference?
I would say on balance, I think we have seen probably it's evened out. I don't think we've seen a sort of a big influx of people who are new to running. We always have people come and go. People come in, people come out, people move on to other things. People retire, they get busy, they have kids, they get busy with other things, and so there's all sorts of reasons why you have time for these things or you don't have time for these things. So but I look at the big events and they still seem to be doing really well. Our triathlon in Broadhaven, for example, we started off at about 160 competitors 12 years ago. We're now up to 400, and that's it. We've hit our max for the venue. That's it. Unless we can close all the roads, and nobody wants that, then we've hit our max. So I'd say it's where we want it to be. So we're not turning lots of people away. So it's not one of those events that sells out in 5 minutes. I'm not sure why I'd want that, because lots of people then contacting you saying, I want to play. So I want to play. You spend a lot of time dealing with unhappy people. So I think we just got a nice medium at the moment.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Dave, and regular listeners and viewers might remember that a few weeks ago we had Jo on, Jo Williams, your sister, who's
That's
doing
right.
the.
You remember she was my sister.
Yeah, I did. Well, she's helped. She's written a comment that's just up on the screen
Oh, yeah,
now.
I can see that.
I was just interested to hear how Jo's getting on, because she was telling us all about her Run Every Day challenge for 2023. Still going strong, and end of October. How is she?
Yeah, as far as I know, I haven't seen her for a few weeks. As far as I saw her in a meeting. That doesn't really count. As far as I know, she's doing really well. I think she had the odd injury problem, a little bout of illness, but she somehow managed every single day to get out the door and do a little run. Maybe some of them were a bit shorter than she would have liked, but yeah, she's inspiring. It's absolutely fantastic, and I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that she'll get all the way through to New Year's Eve, and complete the 365.
That was
incredible.
Is she entered Broadhaven, Dave?
She did Broadhaven try this year. Whether she's but the pudding run. Oh yes, I'm sure. Yeah,
she did. I think she'd done the Dale half the day before she came on the show. I think
That's right.
Cardiff. She'd done the Cardiff half. I think the day before she
did the Dale 10K the week before.
Yeah, brilliant work. So that's for breast cancer research. You can follow that, and I think her plan is to finish by running the park run route in Haverfordwest on New Year's Eve, I think, isn't it? So I'm sure we'll talk to her again between now and then. Absolutely,
I think that's still the plan. Yes.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, just before we finish about the Broadhaven Pudding Run, and just remind people when it is. If anyone's watching and listening, Dave, and they'd like to find out more about the Tri Club, what's the best way to do that?
The simplest way is either to go to our website, which is pemstri.org.uk, or go to Facebook and just search for Pembrokeshire Triathlon Club. We've got a page there and a Facebook group. So that's the best way to get in touch with the club.
Excellent stuff. So I am smiling as well, because Jo's now added a comment to say she's definitely doing the pudding run. You might be in trouble though, Dave, because it's actually her birthday.
I did know that, but as Jo knows, I didn't choose the date.
Because let's give that a plug.
She's going to be running on her birthday anyway. If she's going to keep this up all year at some point,
Exactly.
It's going to happen, isn't it? Yeah,
you might as well do it with 300 other people.
Yeah.
And
let's just miles.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's just remind people then that the Broadhaven Pudding Run is the 10th of December, Dave.
Yeah, it starts at 9:30. It's a 10K, and you can if you go to Xmas Pudding Run, so it's Christmas but with an X, xmaspuddingrun.co.uk, you can click on the link and you'll find the online entry and all the details there.
Excellent. Still places available for people to sign up tonight if they want to?
Yeah, there are definitely places available. Entries are open until the first couple of days of December. We're raising money for Green Acres Animal Rescue, so it's all for a worthy cause.
Excellent stuff. There we go. Phrase undulating route, would that be accurate?
Well, I'll have my Strava on this year. I'm going to check that claim of Dave's at the first hill only last 1K.
Maybe it's 3.
In my mind, it goes on forever.
One of those Ks, yeah, it feels never ending. And yourself, Dave, are you going to be running it this year?
No, I'm doing the timekeeping.
Okay.
So you know where I am, Fraser. If you want,
I'll see you at the finish line. On the start. Yeah.
And just a good place to finish, Dave, is just that you touched on it as well with all the events you organise. You must have a real band of volunteers who help you with these and getting them on. And without people turning out to do the jobs like timekeeping, but so many other things as well, these events just wouldn't happen, would they?
It's absolutely the most important thing of all, volunteers for these events, and it's such good fun. I will say that everyone who volunteers at the events really enjoys it. And yeah, with the Broadhaven, just quickly, the Broadhaven example, the Pembrokeshire Tri Club help out with the pudding run because we get such great support from Broadhaven for our triathlon. So it works both ways. It's brilliant.
Yeah, because and genuinely, final question now: do people ever do it dressed up as a Christmas pudding? Is that where the pudding bit comes from?
Oh, you'd be much better than that. All sorts.
Oh God,
okay.
There's fairies and horses and I don't know, everything. Yeah, it's definitely encouraged.
Excellent. Well, look forward to that.
I remember looking around on the beach the first year I did it and thinking I'd walked into a carnival. I joined at the back and there was a lot. I think it was Bella's Story. Maybe was that the theme one year? There was a group of people running for Bella's Story in Pembrokeshire who were dressed up in pink. Yeah, and it was fluorescent outfits. It was colourful.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
If you scroll back to our Facebook, you'll see pictures from last year as well of all the different colourful characters that took that route on.
Yeah, it only gets embarrassing with those colourful characters coming in front of you. That's the problem.
The London Marathon, I was overtaken by a pint of beer, the Tower of London. It's so demoralising when you feel like you're going quite quickly. These people are going past in fancy dress. Dave, thank you. Keep up the great work with the Tri Club, and good luck to everyone with the Broadhaven Pudding Run in December. Urge people to sign up for that, as Dave said, raising money for Green Acres as well. Thank you very much. Always welcome on the show. We will speak to you again. Dave, thank you very much for your time. We are going to take a moment and we'll come back for the final part of Pure West Sport next.
Pure West Sport Show, sponsored